Welcome back to Getting the Ball Rolling. Today's guest, Ryan. Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Welcome, mate. Nice to see you.
Ryan recently just launched a website called Football Top Corner, is it? Got
Yeah.
to plug that right there,
That's it,
right?
Football Top Corner.
He's going to be selling like the retro tops and stuff like that. But today we're going to be having a wee recap about the Old Firm straight away because we've got to. Cup final
to.
just happened there.
Right there.
So I'll get straight into it. What was your thoughts on the game?
Watching it, pretty balanced all the way throughout, but scrappy, edgy, just constantly.
I think it was the most scrappiest one I've seen in a while, mate. I don't remember one being as feisty as that. Which is all. I don't think it's all negative, mate. I liked it. I liked that they were getting stuck in it.
That was good. Last game of the season, Rangers had to fight, had to try and do something. Do you know what I mean? But was it just that little bit in the end? Fine margins, and Celtic got the better.
But you thought going into it that it was you probably wouldn't have won that game, man. Going in there.
Nah. My prediction was it was going to be a Celtic win. Just the way that Rangers completely went off the wagon recently, and Celtic just started to kind of get into a rhythm, get into a groove, and knew how to get a result.
Do you think the players felt like that? No, the Rangers players they must have.
I think so. That's all that bit we were talking about before, like questioning mentality and stuff like that. And it's these big moments, you know. We've heard it before from like Tavernier and so on, saying like we prefer to be the underdogs. And once we get ahead, then it kind of seems to fall apart a wee bit. So it happened again.
It's no secret. Obviously, with the 1 year that the fans were there, that they done well. I just think there's too many people on that team that can react well to it when they're like on their back and all that. I've said this a few times in the podcast, but as good as a player as he's been individually for years, Ankle might be a better thing for the club if he does go, because then you can give somebody else the captain armband where it doesn't look like you've just like disrespected Tav and just went, it's coming after you. Because if you take it off him, you have to let him go anyway. Because you can't keep him there. If he's getting it took off him, you've got to go.
Absolutely.
I doubt he would stay anyway.
No,
but
I think he'd want to.
Are you gutted if he goes, or would you rather see him stay down?
I think you'd be gutted individually, but it's one of those ones that's talking about being a leader and being the difference. And you know what? There's so many times he's pulled us at a hole. So individually, you probably would keep him, you know. But once again, I think it's a bigger thing of a mentality thing in the background that's going to pull us down.
See the referee on the game. It seems to be the refs are always the talking points after these games, right? But see, to be fair, I think this one won't make as much noise as the other ones, purely because like with the referee disallowing the Rangers goal. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think he done a good job with it, because obviously he didn't see it in real time. VAR done what it was supposed to do in that sense, right? Shocked, mate. Shocked John Beaton called it back, to be fair, because it's brother Beaton. Jeez, man. He'll not be getting in the Lodge meeting next month, mate.
No
He's
chance,
barred, man.
He's barred for the Lodge.
But when they looked at it, I never thought it was a foul until I thought it was quite soft seeing it originally, because I did see something happen there, but I was like, it's just a bit of this and that, like nothing, like just a wee bit of handbags. But then when you seen the first replay, I think right away I was like, right, that's it. There's no way they can give that, because there's two hands there. You can see he's pushed Joe out of position, and I'm guessing you kind of feel like it maybe the right call. Or do you think it was too soft? What do you think used to happen?
Nah, I think it's one of those ones. It's modern day football, isn't it? VAR. When it originally goes in, like gone
We can do
mental,
something.
buzzing. Like this is it. We can actually do this. My prediction's gone wrong, but once you then seen it, I was like, do you know what? It's a right call. You can't put your hands on the back and think you can get away with it with VAR. It's not going to happen.
Do you know what was nuts, right? See, when I seen that happen in real time, I was very sure that after all that, the ref came over, right? When he came off and he'd made the decision, right, foul, free kick going that way. I thought he put a yellow out and like pointed to Raskin and said, right, Raskin, yellow card.
I know, I thought that as well, but
then he got a second yellow, and I was like, that he's no clocked. He's gave him a yellow earlier. He must have gave it to somebody else for
must
protesting.
have been for somebody else for I think it was.
But it never came up. Like you never got
Aye.
to see who it was. Which they wee things makes it look bad in the game. When if there's a lot of people tuning into that game, you don't even know who's been booked. Like this, usually you'd want it to come up on the screen to say, so you've got an idea. But because it didn't, I was convinced, mate. I was like, he's forgot that he's booked Raskin, and then that's why he's still on.
I was saying, even the commentary team, I think it was like Leanne Crichton and James McFadden. They didn't know who was booked either.
No, and then it was
so then it was like, no one's been booked, and we move on.
You got the same later on though when that. Do you remember when there was a tackle coming? Who was it between? Where I think there was two. There was a bad tackle, and then there was a reaction there for.
Was that one with
Johnston, Alistair Johnston, and
Cantwell? No.
No, I don't think it was Cantwell. I can't remember who it was. Was it Diamonde? Because he got booked later on in the game. Did Sterling even get a yellow? Basically, like, they went down and like. For me, mate, Alistair Johnson looked like he was instigating it because he hooked his legs on somebody.
No, he was
then,
being
like,
smart because that was the one where he then managed to catching Seema.
Aye,
And then Seema got the book for the reaction. But
aye,
you're like,
and then
Johnston was just doing
that's
doing
what it
that.
was. That's what it
Fair
was.
to him. Like,
But the funny thing about that is, see, after it, for about 3-4 minutes, everybody's thought that they've both been booked because it's not been made clear. And then even the commentary said,
that's right.
that's it, both players were booked. And then 2 minutes after that, they go, actually, he was booked.
No.
I'm like, they're having a shocker today, man. Is he booked or no?
That's right.
You don't even know who's booked
Who's
at
on,
this
who's
point, man. What about, do you know what else surprised me, actually? See, when I think it was the first half, a Borkham whipped in, mate, and Kyogo's went to dive and headed it.
Yep.
He's flicked it on, and it looks like it's going to go towards the back post where Forrest is, but then, was it Davis? His horn came out and hit
Yeah.
it,
Aye, aye.
which I was really surprised, right? They didn't at least have the ref look at it. Now, like, if you asked me, do I think it's a penalty? If you're going after the rules, it's 50-50 because the rule says it's supposed to be if your hand's in a natural position, then you're all right, but is it there natural? Like, maybe down the side, you'd say 100% natural, you can't dispute that. But I think when the arm goes out a wee bit, it's interpretation, and that's why I think they need to change that rule. I think the rule should just be outright, right? If the hand's at the side, it's not a handball, unless your obviously hand moves to it. But then if your hand's anywhere out from there, then you're playing the game. Like, cause see with things like that, that's all about opinions when it happens like that. I feel like anyway, mate, because the rule says it's like natural position, but how the fuck are you gonna know?
No,
I mean, there's
absolutely.
been a few where there's been unnatural and they've still gave it. I've spoken about it on this actually when I can't remember who Celtic were playing, but somebody's went up for a header at a corner or at a free kick. I think it was Awata, and he got shoved in the air. So not only has he been shoved in the air, he's not even facing the way the ball is, and his eyes were closed, and his hands hit the ball because of the shove he's got in the air, and they've gave it. And I'm like, if this is where I think they need to be more clear with VR, and otherwise there's no point in having it there. Fair enough, they got the decision right with that, but I would have been mad if they at least pulled the referee and let him look at it again, because that's what it's there for. Because now we need to we just need to assume that the ref did see it hit his hand and he thinks that was a natural position, or if VAR just decided that for him. Because the whole point of VAR is also to let the ref look at these things again if he's missed them in real time. Because you're not trying to re-referee the game, but you're trying to help the guy out. But then if you're not going to bring him over and at least let him have a look at something that's potentially a pen, what's the point in having it, mate? Because even if he thought he'd seen it, let him have a look at it again, and then you can actually say, I'm sticking with it. Because I think was another penalty decision where the ref stuck by it, and it was the O'Reilly one in the last Old Firm.
That's right.
And I mean, that was a soft one, I'll be honest with you. I was surprised we got gave that, especially when it did get pulled out of the screen. I thought it was going to be overruled, but there was something satisfying in the fact that seeing a ref actually make a decision and then being pulled out and then sticking by it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, because then even if you're getting it somewhat wrong, I can still respect that at least you thought this is why I thought it was the case or whatever. And I think I said this before. I don't know if you saw when I had Cameo and I was saying about I'd love to see them do interviews, mate, just to pick their brain. Like, did you think this was the case? Did the ref see that? I'd love to know. Did what was it? Who was it was refereeing that game? Do you know his name?
Oh,
The fella. He's
Scott
the only
Man.
one I think I don't know their name for. You know the rest of
No.
them.
I know you'll be able to look it up as.
But I'd like to know, did he see that or no? Because I don't know. I mean, I don't think it'd have been an outcry if a penalty got gave. I don't think anybody would have said anything,
nah,
because the ones that have been gave this season have been shocking.
nah. I think for me, if you're just looking at it as like as a Rangers fan, obviously, and here, like, if it's given against you, you're fuming.
If
You
it's
know,
given
if it's
you,
given
you're like,
against you,
yeah,
you're fuming.
surely,
But
that's
if
damn
it's for
right.
Celtic, then obviously you're going to be buzzing. But for me, just like the game is like, at times people don't know what the rule is on the handball. I mean, you hear players like talking on other kind of radio shows and stuff like that, but they don't understand the rule. You know, it's not clear.
It's not clear.
So in terms to
Doesn't
me,
help
like, if
they
that
change
ball
it,
cut is coming
honestly.
across and it's sort of flick and he's already in motion, what can he really do? You know what I mean?
Aye,
So for me, I think
That's why I was like
right
saying
call,
it's
no penalty for me.
can't make your mind up with it, man.
Nah.
Like, I mean, obviously, I'm glad in the end that it wasn't like that's not the thing that made the game be decided, if that makes sense. Because
Absolutely.
if you gave the pen, you're maybe killing the game there,
Aye.
and then you've got something to be annoyed about. But in this sense, I don't think anybody can say it other than Celtic just deserve to win it. Which you always want to see that. If you're, obviously, I know you don't,
Nah,
but from a football perspective, you want to see a team win it that deserve to win it. And I think either team maybe deserve to win it in the sheer fact that it was a very scrappy 50-50 game. But obviously Celtic just done enough, mate. Like you were saying about mentality, just there's so many people in the core and spine of that team that have just been there and done it, and they're just used to the expectation that they can just go and get out of the line even when they're not playing well. Because I don't think Celtic played great in that game.
No.
I don't think Hughes played great, but I do think that's the first Old Firm where I've seen you set up in the way that you could probably get a result against us. And it's funny because Kenny was on this before, the last one I done, where he said Rangers should set up like the way they do in Europe, where they're more compact and they hit people on the counter and then they get a bit more joy. Yous probably had your best performance against us there in the season, and it's no secret that yous were way more compact. It looked like the strikers done a lot more covering of Callum McGregor than what previously was done. Like you just saw, like it was weird because I expected Silva to stay out wide most of the game, but it seemed like anytime Callum McGregor got the ball, he was just tucking right in, mate, and he almost dropped him back to like a centre forward position to help Dessers then go out. And it was like they were trying to force that ball out every time to Scales, and
That's
you can
right.
see why, mate, because Scales, he doesn't look comfortable with the ball. It's very obvious. But then when he goes on that run, he looked class. Like he went on a
I
run
know.
about 40
That's-
yards, and you're like, go on, son.
For
Hit
me,
it.
for me, when I was looking at it, I was like, but how are they letting Liam Scales run that far with a challenge going on, you know?
Maybe they were just told, just let him make that ball because he's going to just get his anyway. There was a few he gave away, mate, and you're like, oh, because Greg Taylor's so high up and sometimes inverted that you're left really exposed at the left back. Well, I mean, I think it's always been a target against us. Like, yous are not the only team to target that, but there seems to be a lot of pings to that left side, mate. Like, he's tried it a few times, but actually, I thought Greg Taylor had his best game at the last few Old Firms in the tens, like defending wise, like he was solid. That thing with who was it? He shoved in the deck, Cantwell handbags.
Aye, that
I
was,
don't know why he's done that, mate. I was
absolutely.
actually so fuming about that, right? Because it's all well and good now, right? But he's done a great tackle and then got himself booked for nothing. And it's like you could have just like had a wee whisper. You didn't need to put it on him. You could have just said that, have that one, son, or something. Like, you didn't need to shove him and get yourself booked for
I know.
nothing.
That's what I feel like. There was a lot of like kind of silly yellows just from
Oh, mate, I'm
tit for
actually,
tat kind of.
I'm surprised. Was there no like a tackle where someone nicks the ball off Diamonde? And am I saying that? Is it Diamonde or Diamande?
Aye, Diamande, aye.
And then he's instantly like trying to volley the player, like the Celtic player, and like VAR looked at it for a red card, which I don't want to like purely be controversial, right? But I don't want players getting sent off for like wee things like that. Like intent was there, it was a bit naughty in that, but it's an Old Firm.
No.
Passions are high. There's a lot in the stake here. Like it was never a point where you'd go get him out the game. Like obviously there'd be some fans out there be like, no, red card. Like, but for me, physicality is getting lost in the game, mate.
No,
And I
absolutely
didn't
is.
mind it. I
Yeah.
thought that game was refereed okay in the sense of the fouls being nobody got a red card and all that, but I do feel like the ref's not done himself any favours in the sense of bookings. I don't think he was consistent enough. Do you agree with me?
No,
mate,
I
with the-
agree. I think especially as well, there was some fouls that was like given to Rangers and then wasn't it Celtic and then Celtic and then was the Rangers. For example, just like the shove on the edge of the box. You're like, so why was that one not
Why
given?
was that? No, I'm weird that the linesman never flagged that. He's right there.
You know, so that's the edge of the box. Could have been maybe just in the box. Could have been a penalty. Don't know. You know,
Aye, because
but-
there was when Cal Mack got yelled, I was like, right, okay. I was like, a few of them have happened already, like where somebody's broke their man and they're on the break and he's no booked, and I'm like, he's obviously let a few go so that he doesn't have to send them the off. He set the tempo. Now he's putting a marker down. This is a yellow. So in my head, I was saying to the missus at the time watching it, I was like, he's got to book that every time now because you're setting that as a level, and that's Callum McGregor's first foul, I believe. I think he had one wee thing before it, but it wasn't really a foul. It was more just a wee brush together. So I'm like, right, he's going to do that every time. But then there was a couple of times with both sides where it happened again, and I'm like, he's not even booking people now, and it's like, now you're like, you need to kind of sit, because if you keep booking from that point on, it's not going to happen and the game won't be interrupted. But now you're going to have to continuously slow the game down. You seen it? Because there was a few, I remember the one that was Cantwell, and it was exactly the same thing. And I was like, why? I don't understand why he'd no booked at that point. I couldn't get my head around that. I thought he had a no bad game, but I think the problem with the refs is just they're not consistent with these decisions. And you see it all season. And I mind Cammy was on this actually, and he said something to me, and since he said it, I must have spewed it out about 10 times to other people that will listen to me talk about this. But he said something like, you have part-time refs, you'll get
Yeah,
part-time
part-time
performances,
you will,
and that's what you get.
Yep.
Like, they do as good a job as they can with the resources they've got, mate, but like, the consistency is the most important thing. You need that throughout a whole season, and I think that was why when I seen that foul, I thought, oh, he's going to give the pen, because we've been getting them all season for that, more or less. I mean, there's been few that have been missed, really. I had said that they've gave more that they shouldn't have than ones they've missed when it comes to penalties this season.
Yeah.
Red cards, I mean, I don't think there's been too many, but I thought, oh, they've really got that wrong. It's more the penalties, and they can decide games, mate. Do you know what I mean? Big ramifications, like people going up and relegated. Like, these things can make up, especially at certain points in the season when these decisions they can make a huge difference in terms of momentum, mate, with teams where they're going to go.
100%.
If you've got games in Europe, mate, and you've just lost a game that you should have won, pressures on the club, even mate to deliver, and then it just snowballs from there, mate. I honestly think that there needs to be some sort of investment for the clubs, mate, throughout the league that supports like a better infrastructure for refs to be able to go out and do a more consistent job. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, I wouldn't mind. I said this before as well. I wouldn't mind VAR coming out again, but then when you see that penalty, sorry, the
You see
goal
the reason
getting
why
gave
it's
after
there.
you, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, didn't they do it right there? They've done it right, like, and
Aye.
that's what's the frustrating thing. I think that's the most frustrating thing about it is if it
If
were
it's
fan on it.
getting used right, you know.
Aye.
But it's like when you then look at on the other side of it, like rugby, like they're all mic'd up. You can hear everything. This is a decision. This is the reason why. So why do we not have that? In
I
terms of
said
football?
that. I
So
said that one
why
this
don't-
mate. I'd
aye.
love that.
We could take a pause on it and be like, okay, let's go and speak with these different kind of affiliations and see what else we can build, you know, and try and make the game better. Because like you're saying, in those in those kind of times where it actually works, you're like, aye, makes sense.
It's good, mate. It's
But-
satisfying.
Then at the times that things have been missed or there's no really any real reason why,
You're
and there
pulling your
isn't,
head up.
then what is it? They come out later on and say, "Oh, we apologise." What's the difference between all right, but you lost the game, but 3 points would have got you an extra place in the league
Yep.
or secured
More money.
more
Yep.
money, Europe
And
for
with it-
whatever
with it-
team.
Aye, some
So,
teams in the league that they
aye.
rely on
I
that.
don't think apologies are good enough. For
Nah, it's no, mate. That's
So,
why.
you're right. Why do we not have some sort of place where it's like, okay, we're the top tier in Scottish football. Why are they not full time referees? You know, held to a
You-
higher standard.
Even if it's not going to be the clubs, mate, like they need to they need to do a stronger negotiation with Sky. Where these games that are getting like televised, it's no secret the Old Firm does a lot of numbers, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it brings interaction. It's good for Sky. The banter with the pundits is class. Like, you see Eton with Chris Boyd and something just gets trending, right? So there's leverage there for them to be able to say, like, using it to like help us towards investing in the game a wee bit here, even if it's like a certain cut of that TV rights money goes strictly to the referees
Mm-hmm.
being able to have like a kind of a backing, mate, so that they can actually improve. I don't know why that it seems like they just sit down to it, mate, and they just take like whatever they're offered. Like the TV money here's shocking, man.
Oh, it's poor.
Shocking.
And I think like as well as what I get frustrated with Scottish football, particularly obviously top tier, is they'll show the Rangers and Celtic games, but they're playing away. You know, they never advertise Celtic Park or Ibrox unless it's like an Old Firm. How many times you watch like Sky Sports, for example, and then it's always Rangers away to Motherwell, Celtic away to St Mirren. It's never home games, you know, but it's because they want to put on a show because they think it's going to be a harder game,
Yep.
you know, and then they might be like, okay, we'll see Celtic slip up away, we'll see
Yep.
Rangers slip up away.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see these games like played away to Kilmarnock, Dundee, all that sort of stuff. Because
That's when messed up banter comes anyway, innit? Like you've probably seen the clips of like when Celtic won the league at Kilmarnock, I think it was,
Mhm.
and you see Chris Boyd up in the stands, and like I'm pretty sure, right, like the video of him in the corner got like more views and I was like running about it was typical, wasn't it? Like you just love to see like the bitterness and the rivalry. It's funny, innit? But obviously I think Chris Boyd's done that knowing that it's gotta be like, I know he's probably not happy about it, but I think he's done it like knowing that it's gonna be funny at some point. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise you just look at it and he'd be raging.
yeah.
See, in terms of like, obviously now we know. Would you say this season's been like a huge failure for Rangers? Because considering obviously because I think this is the second time in the last 3 years you've got rid of a manager at a point in their season where somebody else has come in and they've had to take care of somebody else's team. Do you think Clement's done a good enough job that you're happy with what he's done, or do you think that he's underachieved slightly? Like, how do you view his kind of what he's done this season since coming in, mate?
For me, I don't think he's underachieved at all. I think he took over a team that didn't have like any sort of cohesion, any fight within it. And then, do you know what? We had a really good spell, but it's the same in any kind of industry or business. You know, you're always going to get that initial uptake. You know, if you're going to be a new manager for any sport.
He was lasted a while though with him.
It lasted a good while, but then that's when it comes to the end where it's like, okay, I think he's good at what he does, but then is it the mentality that players are okay because we got ahead, but then after that it just kind of got a bit rocky and kind of crumbled a wee bit. You know, I think there was a couple of things that didn't help, like preparation wise when it was like the kind of Dundee thing and obviously the pitch and all that sort of stuff.
That was
'Cause
like a perfect storm on it.
I think if we got that game played and won, I think we would, like you're saying, momentum, right things happen at the right times of the season.
Momentum's everything, mate.
Momentum can be everything, absolutely, mate. But I think we're unlucky with like some personnel things, like a couple of injuries and stuff like that.
Seema
as
was a
well,
huge
so-
loss for you, eh?
Aye,
He was
and
flying, mate, and then he went to that. Was it the African Nations he went to?
Then,
And
aye,
then,
and then that was it. Obviously,
I'm a
like,
fan of
we've
him,
seen
mate. I like Seema.
Good player.
I heard a
player.
rumour Celtic were to sign him, but you know that way people just say it for a wind up to wind you
Mhm.
up. I'd be happy with Celtic signing Seema, mate. I think he's a decent player. I think he
Good
brings
player.
something
Aye.
different.
Aye, like obviously he's, like proven. Do you know what I mean? But this as well, like for example, like, maybe
Loan
not
though,
a-
wouldn't he? He's away
Seema.
now.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Rangers fork out the money, the same as would would Celtic fork out the money for Ida.
He's going to have to put some amount. See your rebuild, by the way. I can't imagine. I know we'll probably have to do a similar, like not as big as yours, but the rebuild you're going to have to do, but the players you're going to have to replace is going to be huge, man. Because I'm thinking in my head, if Tav does go, that's Lundstrom, Tav, Golson,
Mm-hmm.
which you could say is
Barisic, obviously away as well.
Seema, Silva. Like that's the whole spine of your team gone, more or less. And like for as decent as Dessers has been this season, I don't think he's the striker that's going to go out there and help you win the league.
Nah.
So he's maybe somebody you can bring on the last 20 minutes, but even then, he's the type of guy that needs 5 chances to score one. You want even the guy you're like I'd say Roof's a bit of a finisher. Even the guy you're coming off the bench, you want them to be able to score maybe 1 and 2, 1 and 3, but 1 and 5 is just not good enough, mate. Not for the level like that you need to be to go compete and win trophies.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Have you got your eye on MD? Is MD Shanklin maybe?
I don't know why we kind of forked out money and got Shanklin there, but I think Clement came out and said he had to be very smart with like his business and how he had to do it. You know, like beforehand, was it like the money was all spent pretty much. So even
That's
though
nuts, isn't it? That
Monday-
you gave that much money to Michael Beale on the back end that he'd never managed anybody.
Yeah.
Really? Like
Pretty much, aye,
didn't
what
he,
was it?
didn't he, didn't he deserve
17
it?
games at QPR along those lines, and so Clement obviously he's got a track record, like in Belgium and stuff like that. And like I was saying, I think he said that a decent start. It was good to kind of get that mentality where okay, we won a cup, but things kind of fell apart towards the end of the season there. Was it a chance for him to go out and maybe do something against Celtic there? For me, I didn't think we were going to. Obviously, we said that earlier, but no, I suppose it's one of those ones. If we did win that, would that have just kind of covered the cracks a bit? Yeah, probably.
I think it'd have
Cup
been
double,
I think
would
it'd been
have paid for the
huge,
cracks,
mate,
but-
for yous. If yous won that game, him coming away with 2 cups, yous get to keep the title of most successful club in Scotland. But
Mhm.
what was at stake here was huge, mate.
Aye, now
And
it's level.
obviously the players would have known that, and then it's can the players take the pressure? Probably knowing as well, mate. Like the bragging rights that came with Celtic winning that, now equaling the
Mhm.
thing, and now it's like it's a case of both clubs are the most successful club in Scotland, if you argue.
Mhm.
Probably has got the better of him, mate. But see if you could keep MD in that team that you think is gonna go, who would you keep? Like, is there MD that you would keep there?
I'm going to keep Silva. Like I was saying, I think Goldson, obviously you're saying there, I think he's just kind of getting past it now. Tavernier would keep, like individually, but
Would you keep him right back though?
there's always that shout about kind of playing him up one, isn't there?
Mate, I don't know
No.
why they don't do 5 at the back, play him as a wing back. Then
That's
you
right,
need to
no.
have a right centre back there that can cover pace though,
Mm-hmm.
and that can go out there and help him with Maida. So you're doubling up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just obviously you work around that, mate. People fill gaps. It's just the way football works. But I've always thought that for years, mate. It really surprises me, right, with how poor he is defensively. Because there's no secret, he is not a good defender. Even at his best season in Rangers, when you went undefeated, right?
Mhm.
I still don't think that makes you a good defender. Because the proof's in the pudding, mate. Like if you're not consistently doing it over season, then like when I watch you play, right, and I watch you have bad games, it seems to be it's always either Tavernier having a bad game or Barisic having a bad game. And obviously Barisic makes sense that like Yilmaz is going to fill that gap in that, but with Tav, it's just like nothing changes. You just keep playing him there.
Yeah.
And it's because what he offers going forward is worth that, but just play him one position forward, man. Jesus Christ.
Just to see, absolutely. I think like I was saying, obviously Barisic's going. Redvan kind of seemed to kind of come onto a game once he got a run.
He was a decent wee player, Yilmaz.
Aye. Just 4 foot nothing.
I mean, look, Greg Taylor though, mate, and look
I
what
know.
he's achieved, man. But
A
we've just
great
won
player as
the
well.
amount of trophies he's won since he came to Celtic. I mean, that's 3 in a row now, and I think Greg Taylor's a good defender, but his weakness is his height, same as Yilmaz. And the problem is when we go into European games, mate, teams just target him.
Yeah.
And you've seen it even like it's not just then, like domestically, mate. Like when we were in the cup semi-final, everybody's like they just kept targeting Greg Taylor at the back post. Like we conceded 2 or 3 the same goal, mate, that game. And then Hughes targeted that, and that's how Dessers got that goal in the last Old Firm.
Yeah.
He's targeted that back ball, easy to win a header over Greg Taylor, and then boom, goal. Like it's so. And you will probably have the same problem with that, mate. Like no matter who you bring in to fill the rest of that gap, Yilmaz will probably be bullied and targeted for like balls at the top. Which that's the thing I want to ask you, right? I can't remember the last game I seen Hughes play, right? That's no like a big part of the game. You seem to go long quite a lot. Like what's his style of play for Clement? Do you think that he's playing this way because of who he's got, or do you think he's just trying to feel things out in the league, or like what do you think? Why do you think he's playing the way he's playing?
Playing what he's got. Do you know what I mean? Then Dessers target man kind of go up and knock, because that seems to be the way that it was working even in the game there. Just
were you playing like that when you were having that good run though? Was it the same way? I think he's not playing the ball on the deck a lot, man.
Nah, there was kind of ones where we were playing like through the lines and that, you know. But I think it was one of those ones because obviously I was trying to figure out, was it going to be like Lammers, was it Dessers, Danilo? I think like your game will be different if you've then got Danilo playing. You know.
Is he injured? What's happened to him?
Still injured. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we only really had one striker because Lammers wasn't cutting it. Even though he went over to youth director and he started.
He's doing a job there.
Doing a job, but is it the style of football? Is it Scottish style of football? I don't think so.
Would you back? Do you not think he's been unfair? Like I don't. It's mad that he only played. Did he only play like a couple of games for Rangers? 6-8 games or something? I don't remember him playing an awful lot. He's only a couple of games into the season.
I think we got a point where it was maybe like 9 league games or something, but he didn't score any or something. It was along the lines. Do you know what I mean? So,
do you not think though a problem with modern day football, Ryan, is though that people are too quick to rule somebody off and write them off and say you're done here? Because I don't know if you remember Larson started Celtic, mate. Terrible. His first game he gets to be a ball, goal, boom. Right, we lose the league that year, I'm sure. And like, if we'd just done the same treatment with him that we'd used on with Lammers and like maybe said loaned out. I'm not just saying it's Rangers a day, it's Celtic day. I know we've done it with so many signings, mate. We just throw money at players and waste. Like we've done it with Lagerbielke, mate. Signed him, try to get rid of the guy the next transfer window. I've seen him play decent, but I think a problem with modern day football is maybe we're too quick to write somebody off. And it seems like as soon as the media do it, that's it. Everybody's on it now. Clubs, it's like the club are looking at these journalists and going, right, they're going to tell us who's playing and who's no. It's honestly, that's just. It seems like either that or the fans. It's like they shouldn't be the ones deciding what happens here. Like your manager's paid to do the job to decide that. So like, I wondered if it was down to Clement saying like, I don't think he'll fit the way I want to play, or if it's just the club saying, do you know what? Let's just move. Like, let's just rule all these Beale signings as duds, and that's it. Because they won the auto. Because I'm sure it was Beale, no, the one that brung Sterling in.
Aye, but never played him on that.
Did he know?
No, he wasn't really ever getting a game.
That's a shocker, isn't it? Because he was a good player.
And then he started getting into.
What about who brung Seaman?
Seaman, he was part of the
Beale ball.
Beale as well. Aye, but once again, like injured.
Really?
You know, so like.
I mean, there's been some decent signings there.
You know,
there was some decent signings there.
There was some decent signings, same as like obviously Jack Butland, you know, like player of the year and stuff like that. For
see, when I saw Beale's style of play, it looked very similar to what I see the tail end of the season when you were playing bad. I feel like I don't see a difference there, and I don't know if maybe obviously they're in they see it in training every day, mate. Like fucking every day you'll see the same boys. Like you obviously have their setup and all that, and like how they want to play. I don't imagine Clement and Michael Beale had the same setup of how they want their teams to play. But I mean, do you think they've both tried to implement their own style in training, and they've seen that the players there cannot deliver it, and that's why they just resort to that tactic of just going long majority of the game? Do you think that? Do you think both of them had that thing in training, and then do you then think that if Clement gets the signings in that he wants, you're going to see a different? Do you?
I'd imagine there will be.
I think there will be a demand for it anyway, mate, because it's no. I mean, if you, it's a hard question, mate, because obviously you're a Rangers fan, I'm a Celtic fan, so we're used to winning, and winning's everything, and that's the demand. But see, if you were going to lose a game, would you rather lose a game where your team was just punting it long every time, or that they're actually playing nice football where it's nice to watch and you can see a clear identity and a style of football? Because see, for me, mate, see when I saw us playing the Champions League under Ange Postecoglou, I did not like losing the games, right? But I was happy with some of the performances there where I could see I can see what we're doing here. There's a clear identity. It's our style of football. And if we're going to go and lose, we're going to lose by playing our way. We're not going to go and just panic and bottle it and punt it long and play like the old Stoke City cliche where you're trying to get something out of nothing, that you're just playing scrappy and all that. Because that's what I felt in their games, right? But I don't know if that would apply where it was like domestically for you as a fan. How would you like? Can you try to use your thoughts on that?
For me, like, see, like, I think it's so hard, like, especially in Scottish football, like, apart from when you're going and playing against Celtic, like, 9 times out of 10, it's like the 10 men behind the ball, you know, so you're going to keep on going and keep on playing and breaking down and stuff like that. So I do get the point of, like, having to adapt tactics and stuff. But for me, if you're going to be going out and you're going to be losing games, then you want to play a good, attractive style of football, you know, where people pay good money to go and watch.
That's my thinking, it, mate. People are paying there, they want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So you know you're not going to get the result. You at least want to get your money's worth in the sense that your team are like, they're going out there with they've got a goal in mind and they're doing it. They're doing what they've been coached to do. So you know right away that team's coachable. So you can coach the mistakes out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they've not got that, then it's like you start to worry, like, what is going on behind the scenes here?
Yeah.
We had it for a while. Like, I'd say that year that we lost the 10 in a row, like, it just seemed like Neil Lennon panicked, mate, and the team lost their way. And I get, like, when he took care of Brendan, it seemed like he stuck with Brendan's style of play, and whatever was implemented there was just seen out to the end of the season. And then we ended up winning a treble that year, I think. I don't know how, because like it was a very weird situation having him leave. And I actually think Brendan only recently just probably got him winning that cup, right? I know it sounds mad because we've just won the league, right? I think him winning that cup sealed it for a lot of fans, me included, where it proved a lot of people wrong, mate. Because that team's had so many bad performances this season. To get out of the line and win the league is remarkable. Like, so many duds that we've signed that just weren't good enough. Poor recruitment in that sense. So many bad injuries. But I think for us, it was a perfect storm. Everybody came back at a good time for us.
Yeah, you did.
The critical games. And like, we had to get through so many tough games that we played yous with a few bad injuries, like some bad injuries against yous. And we managed to like not lose, which obviously come the end of the season is crucial, because then by the time we have everybody back, yous have already, like, yous probably had the worst term of injuries at that point. I know Seema was just coming back, but I'd say we got lucky in the timing of everybody coming back. But I feel like Brendan winning that trophy yesterday, it's funny because he said it in an interview after the game. I don't know if you saw his interview post-match. You probably turned the channel off straight away, to be fair. But the telly, that telly's probably broken, mate. Out the window.
What only excuse?
Like Winston's leg out the window, gone. But you probably felt like, well, if you've never seen it, he said this, and I agree with it. He goes, even though we won the league, if you don't win today, it's almost like part of that's forgotten about, because there's such a huge trophy is at stake here. And then I feel like there was like a big moment at the end of the game in that, where there just seemed to be like a real connection there again with the manager, and it's nuts that media were writing them off, mate, a couple of months ago, and he said something very confident, see you in May. Was it see you in May or see you in March or something? And it's came back, and now it's obviously came full circle, and he can obviously hang his hat on this season being, nobody's going to remember the performances, they're just going to remember the trophies, mate. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, really, we're really lucky, mate. Like, Celtic fans, I don't think they realise how lucky we are, mate, in this era, man. We're spoilt. And as soon as I hear some people phoning Clyde One, mate, they're so entitled, mate. They really are. Like, when they start moaning about this and that, it's just like, see, even if we were to lose the league this year, I would still say give Brendan another season to try see what he can do, because with a lot of poor recruitment, and also you can't expect to win every you can't win every league. Do you know what I mean, mate? There's going to be years where you'll win it. It's just the way it's going to work.
Absolutely.
And and the thing is, see, when you do it, I won't even be better about it, mate, because I'm so lucky, mate. I'm so lucky. I've lived through times where it was largely used dominating, and then it went back and forward, and then you'd have your good kind of battles in there. But then the last maybe 13 years, it's just been us spoilt, mate. Spoilt. And long may it continue. I'm just joking.
I'm like, absolutely not.
Right, next thing I want to bring up with you, right, is, see, in terms of these loan players and all that, like, I know you said Silva when he go, but would you keep Seema?
Aye, I keep Seema. Aye, but I think it's going to be a big fee that you're going to have to pay out for him.
Who'd he play for?
Brighton.
Do you know what? Did you pre-agree yet with him? No,
I don't think. I think it was like a loan, but then there's like obviously talks like to buy and stuff like that. But there's shouts of like 7 million in that to pay.
I like that thing where you put that in there, the talk to buy, and I think Celtic missed a real fucking trick with Adam Ida, because Adam Ida's, I honestly give him so much credit, mate, for this season. Not just the goal that won the cup final yesterday, but there were so many games, mate. He just got us the other line where we were playing shocking,
Absolutely.
and
Aye.
we never put an option to buy in now. And I think if you were doing an option to buy, you were maybe looking between 3 and 4 million. But now you're probably looking at double that, mate. Especially after that cup final game, like where he's the decider. And I really, really hope that Celtic go out and sign Adam Ida and Bernardo, because for me, not just the games that were played there were so many games, mate, where I feel like they were really critical and helping get us out of line where we weren't playing well. And they things are like things that win you trophies, man, when you get people to step up to it. Bernardo, I think the region was like 5.5, but the reason I asked you was because so many people were quick to like bash the loan signings and they make a joke about it, like, oh, you're all going to sign loan-ins. And loan signings just helped us win the league, mate. And in the cup final, that's a loan signing that just helped us win 2 trophies this season. So nobody can. I don't think MD should have any complaints if come next season Celtic Rangers go out and do the same thing again, because it's no easy for clubs in our country with the finances that you get for winning a league and that and TV rights to. You rely on transfers, so you can't go out as much as we do bad signings in between us. I mean, like yours with Lammers, us with Barkinos. Like there's been so many. There's been so many bad signings, mate, that you then have to look and go, some of the loan options make sense, mate, as much as you don't want them to be loaned you. But I honestly think they should have put in a deal though where it was option to buy for that Seamer, and same way Adam Ida. You just need to do it every time, because the worst comes it, you just say no, we're not going to take him.
Yeah.
But if you don't pre-agree it and they do well, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because
Yeah, so
then
just take 'em
you've
back.
got a good season at them, but then you can't get them back. And Adam Ida deserves it, mate. He really does, man. Growing up as a Celtic fan, I can't imagine what you'd have felt like putting that ball in that net, man, for a cup final. Jealous of him, so
No,
I
absolutely
really am,
not.
man.
It's the boyhood
Must be the
dream, man,
best feeling.
you know,
Aye, it
but
must be one of the best feelings ever.
it's one of the, when you're looking at Adamida, like, just name like a couple off the top of my head, and obviously I don't watch Celtic as much as you know, but I'm like, he's popped up against Rangers twice, do you know what I mean? He's popped
Yep.
up against that, like, games against Hibs, do you know what I mean? Like double penalties, you know?
Yep.
Won a match, do you know what I mean? So it's like you're saying, it's fine margins, and that's a match winner for me. Whereas like you're saying, Dessers is then going to be, aye, fair enough, he's went and scored like,
Jeez, imagine
20 odd
Ida
goals
playing
and
in
that.
Rangers, right?
Yeah.
How many goals? He'd have banged at least 30 odd goals this
Aye.
season if he was in there,
And
because he's
he's-
more clinical.
he's a big boy as well.
He's
you
very
know,
good for his
like-
feet for a big guy. I said
Mhm.
this on the pod before. He
Nah,
reminds
I like
me.
him. I think the question is like, naturally I think everyone's kind of saying like Lawrence Shanklin to Rangers, you know, kind of boyhood Rangers, all that kind of carry on. Whether you and kind of go down the route of Miovski.
Mate,
Or do you then go
I'd be
Frida?
happy with Celtic signing either Shankland or Miovski and all, mate.
Mhm.
Both had really, really good seasons.
Yep.
Well impressed me as well, because what they've got to work with isn't the same. Do you know what I mean? You can only imagine what they'd do given more chances, because they don't get a lot.
Mhm.
Like, especially like Miovski, I remember against Celtic, mate, he was barely getting a sniff and he just scores, and you're just like, it's so frustrating, man. It honestly is. Like when you concede goals, like when the player's barely got a sniff, but then you appreciate how good a player they are. Do you know what I mean? Like clinical, very clinical. Unlike, I mean, can you imagine if you threw Dessers into like a Hearts, mate? He probably wouldn't have got double digits.
No,
With the
not at all.
opportunities he'd have got, he'd probably been gone.
Yep.
How much of a budget do you think you need to be able to compete and win silverware next year?
Well, that's the thing. So we've already obviously got Diamande, and we've got this left back Jeffy in as well. Well, he was obviously on loan at Apoel last year, seemed to have done well, you know. So I don't know. You're probably looking at, for me, if you're going to go and buy Shankland, I think there was obviously, we're saying we're not going to settle for anything less than like say 5 million. Do you know what I mean? So you're probably going to be looking at a
Absolutely worth it the way.
Absolutely is.
He'd be worth
He
10,
coulda-
mate.
He
He'd be worth
coulda
10.
Then went if we went out and spent that money, but like Clement was saying, was like we didn't have the money to spend, you know. So
Because Beale got the backing instead
because
of.
of the previous before,
Yep.
you know, previous regime. So he had to work smart, you know. So who knows? Maybe if you go out and say here's 10, 12 million £, what you go and do it, you know.
It's
'Cause there
hard,
might
isn't it?
be
No,
some
mate, it's hard
loans
to
in
work with
there.
a budget, but with the amount of people you have got going out, it's a hard ask, mate, to go with a budget of between 10 and 12. And that's probably after not getting to the Champions League and
Aye.
us not
That's what I'm
having
saying,
the
but I don't think we'll get any
coefficient
more
for
than
two.
that.
You can't even, like, I mean, how many qualifiers we're using to play for Europa League? Do you know? Is it automatic or?
Nah, I think it's then 2 playoff rounds. I
And if
think.
you get to that, maybe you'll have. But that's the problem with that, is it's so early that you need to have your transfers done,
Aye,
and then you're
absolutely.
banking, you're hanging your hat on something that might not even be.
Mhm.
It's one of the things, mate. With the amount of players you've got going out, you're going to need to have a bigger kitty than 10 to 12 million. You'd
Yeah.
think so
You
anyway.
think so anyway?
For
aye, but
quality,
depends on what they're going to go and do and actually kind of hand over to them, you know. Unless they're going to do some more kind of loan by obligation to buy,
aye.
but then it's okay. We don't need to have the money to upfront it now. you know. So that's where I need to be smart with the business. But I think that kind of boils down to like Rangers are starting to follow that transfer kind of model now. But it's like, okay, buy them in young, cheap, and then sell them on at higher. That's the model anyway that they're looking to follow.
So, see, when you recently you decided to kind of launch your own wee website, your own wee kind of business selling these football retro stuff and that, like with the top, mainly tops and that. Are you going to be doing other stuff other than tops?
There's a couple of boots that are kind of hitting the site as well. There's Preddy's on there.
It's a wee ball on the page, or no?
Yeah,
Is that a classic, that one?
2002 World Cup footballs and stuff like that as well. So yeah, there's got to be more than that, you know. So
Lost many games of World out of that. That gold one that was on the website.
Is it Furhall Complex?
Aye. When you broke your arm though?
Oh, I don't, man.
See that? Whose shot was it? At Boy Cammy?
Cammy McIntyre, man. But do you know the funny thing is that ball was going for a boy's face.
Was it?
Aye, and I was like,
oh,
no,
I'd have been pulling my arm the other way. Do you try to be a hero?
Try to be a hero,
and you broke your arm?
Try my best, you know. 2 weeks before going holiday.
Jeez, man, if that was my cousin, mate, Kyle, you know Kyle, mate.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd have been making a claim, mate. Boy,
should have put a claim in, man.
Oh, mate, he loves a claim in, man.
I was going into the swimming pool with my big.
Did you go to swimming with that one with the cast?
I was going to Florida with Gary.
I remember you went on holiday, aye. Did they draw a willy on it or anything?
Oh, mate, I went into school the next day.
You were still at school when that happened?
I was still at school.
Oh, that's horrendous,
the cast
mate.
for there to there, and we went into the gym hall, and everybody was like, "Gosh," do you know what I mean? Running out
just
with
pinned you
pens.
in, man.
Everything was getting drawn.
I've never
on
had a cast on me. I've been lucky,
Everything
man.
was getting drawn on it.
Oh,
But,
Jesus, man.
Aye,
You get cancelled if that thing's seen the light of day now, man.
Honestly, the worst thing about it was going on holiday, and my mum had to because it was like 2 weeks before going on holiday, so she had to go to run, I think it was like pharmacies and all that to try and get like this special bag that you can go in the water with.
No way, man.
So
I know what you're talking about. I know because my brother had to get that for his fit.
I'm sitting in the pool like that.
Oh my
to
God, man. Looking cool, by the way. Absolutely.
With my at the time top man with the multicoloured clays.
Oh,
remember?
mate, I
Buttons
can
and all
remember
that.
it, mate. Aye. Jesus Christ, man. The
Florida
birds must have
shots.
been running the other way. Like, oh, what's this thing?
We're used to that anyway.
What made you want to start? See doing the retro tops and that?
Yeah.
How long were you thinking about launching that website, and what made you want to start it?
Do you know what it was, mate? It was like everybody, at COVID, you know, everybody was stuck in the house doing absolutely nothing for ages, you know. And it was luckily for me, I was still working, but working from home and still getting paid. But then you weren't actually paying anything out, you know. You weren't going anywhere,
Yep.
weren't doing anything, you know. So it was my kind of thing for first was I was like, maybe I'll start trying to get the taps again that I had when I was younger,
Right.
you know. So I was like, had this Rangers top, had this Scotland top, and so on. So I was like, I'll just try and see what ones I can get and collect as I go. And then from there, it just kind of kept on going and going.
Where were you sourcing these for? Or different places? Did you have a
Different
go-to kind
websites,
of?
I just kind of cutting about, you know what it's like when you kind of go to those kind of wee shops and stuff.
I
like
started
that,
to
you know,
trust some of
it's-
them, though, innit? Like, obviously, because you don't know at first.
Aye.
That's
You
obviously
can
the
tell
gamble.
Some websites that are genuine and that, but the kind of suppliers that have kind of been kind of getting stuff from, they're good. They are good and that. So all the stuff that we've kind of got is actual authentic. There's no kind of fakies because there's all
I seen that on the
classic ones
website.
where
Everything was
it's,
authentic, which that's what you want to see. Because a problem I found, right, and this is why I liked your website compared to a few others. There's been a few other years, and I remember when you were buying these retro tabs because you were putting them in group chats and different websites it was. But when I clicked on someone, I'd be like, I'd just love to see it in writing that they're authentic on their websites. But it was never simple laid out. It was always you couldn't see it until you wouldn't know until you bought it, really.
Yeah.
But with your one, it actually says on there that everything's 100% authentic, which that's just what you want to see.
Yep.
Absolutely what you want to see. And I'm guessing, so near the end of COVID, you just thought,
It was just one of those. The
A slow
collection
build-up?
was just keep on going. And I was like, right, cool. Let's kind of have a look and see how much I can get, kind of thing, you know. But it wasn't with any sort of intent of trying to make a business out of it or anything like that. It was just purely collection, you know.
aye,
Whether it be Scottish football, English football, Italian, nationals, you know, Dutch, you know. So we've got quite a wide range, and that's when I was kind of like, do you know what? There is other people out there like me who like to collect football tops. Or whether
there
it
is,
can
mate. I
be
don't think it's
for-
ever been as popular
Yes.
as what it is now, man. It's
Absolutely.
really popular.
But as long as you're fair with it, because there's one of those ones people kind of pay a lot of money over the odds.
That's the
for
other
these
thing that I
things, and
noticed straight
it's-
away, Ryan, when I was on the
Aye.
website.
Um,
Having a look, the prices are so reasonable compared to some of the ones that you linked me to early years, mate, with the retro stuff. And that was always the one big put off, other than the authentic thing. That's the prices were quite high. There was ones like 80 quid and all that, and you're like, that's not cheap, man. That's you could get 2 taps on your website for that.
Mhm.
and they're like this, they're 100% authentic, and you know that. And
Yep.
it's like I guarantee you've been able to get that. So it's like market value is so fair, mate. Like I don't even know how you make a profit on them, mate. To be honest with you, it's brilliant.
Just market research. That's what it is, mate. That's what it's kind of been boiling down to. Been kind of taking time, looking out, like getting the right stuff, you know, because you could go out there and you could go and make your own ones, you know.
Yep.
And you could do all that, but then what the shiny see-through, eventually bits are going to come off them,
Yep.
you know. But no, we've got a wide range of stuff. We've got some old school stuff like brand new with tags, you know. We've got loan ones and stuff like that. And there's more coming.
Let's have a couple look. Let's have a look at the couple you've got there, right? Let's have a look at these
I
bad
don't know,
boys.
I don't know how the Celtic one got there first, but
I think that was a bit of strategic placement for me, mate.
so we've got the Celtic 2004, 2005 home.
When did you get that one in? Right?
That was like a fairly recent one, to be honest with you, through a couple of sources. So it was pretty good. And then obviously you've got one of the
One of the
heroes for
greats,
the-
mate.
one of the
Aye,
greats.
one of the greats. I went to his
12 there.
testimonial game actually.
So you got there, it's like nice print and stuff like that. But remember that feeling of the kind of velvet?
Aye,
kinda
mate. I missed
tucked
that. Can I
tip,
see it?
which is nice, absolutely, mate.
I missed that, by the way. Do you
But-
know what? They need to bring that back. They need
Aye.
to bring that back, man. Because see, just the feeling of the shirts in general, mate. I just think they feel so much nicer. There's like, see when you get, I feel like any 5 tops you picked out now in modern football, they all kind of feel the same.
Mhm.
And they cut your nipples to mad. In fact, I was just wearing the new Celtic tap there, right, at football the other night there on Thursday after the game, mate. My nipples were killing me, mate. Absolutely agony. Sorry, one man. I had to get the Vaseline on them, and the missus walked in and me doing it. I was like, "Get out of here! You can't have somebody walk in and you're doing that, mate. It's the worst."
I'm not hanging about with you, you know.
Aye, they just feel so much better, mate. Like I remember, going to his game actually. Petrov, the man himself. I remember got to a game that he done, and it was after he'd found out he had leukemia. I think it was.
Yep.
Mate, I was in absolute tears. So I was, mate. Like they played this song, and I've never found the name yet, and it's hard to find footage for this online for some reason. I'd need to try and get somebody to maybe find it for me and source it, or if they were at the game.
Kind of game, yeah.
But it just
not
it had
televised.
this tune on me, and it was just you broke down because like he's done the game's played right, and it was a cracking game. Larson, of course, turns up as usual, scores a screamer, and then his wains ran on like Petrov's wains at the end, and his misses, mate, and you're just in bits, mate, because at this point he's fighting leukemia. I think he's cleared now, and he actually ended up coming back and playing in like a lower division after all this. But at the time, man, he looked so ill. Like he had to. I don't know if he had to put on the weight on purpose for the treatment he was going through or whatever. But he looked so ill, man. Like you could just see it. He looked aged so much with it.
Mhm.
But it obviously came through it on our side and all that. But aye, what a great he was, man. And like I told you before, he signed a tap that I had, a wee Umbro tap, and then my ma put it in the wash, the silly woman. Which I loved it. I know, man. I had so many greats on that one. Aye, so this one, how much is this one retailing for, Ryan?
For me, for that one, we're going to be going with $44.99.
44.99. Very reasonable, mate. That is cheaper than the new taps. That's
Mhm.
actually nuts, man. I may have to get that one after myself, mate. What a
there.
cracker, mate. And then, like, see when you see this one, who did it remind you of?
So that's what I was sitting there looking, 'cause obviously that's the season after Larson left, what I remember, isn't it? 'Cause I think he left, was it 2003, was it?
He was
No,
either
am I?
202 or 204, he
Aye,
was, I'm
was
sure.
it? So it might have been about that time then, like, but I always kind of remember, like, Hearts and Sutton. Do you know, that's what I thought
Sutton
about,
for me,
like,
mate. Sutton
things
jumps
match
out.
winners,
Sutton
like-
and then Lennon and all.
Aye, Lenny, aye.
Who you
aye.
love to hate, by the way,
Aye.
didn't you?
There's a couple of them as well with Lennon. on
That's
the
an
back.
absolute cracker.
them
What if we
also.
go next there? Oh. How did that happen?
How did you
Another
get that
Celtic
placement
tap.
there,
How
Sean?
did you get there?
Well, yep, you also got your Celtic top there. With the, I think, is that the fourth,
It's a smart one, this, isn't it?
fourth kit? 21, 22, obviously with your...
I was a big
tricolour
fan of
and
this when it
stuff
came
like
out.
that. Aye.
So was I. I
It's
never
obviously
got
kind
it.
of going more back to the heritage and stuff like that, isn't it? With that,
I like the
so.
wee buttons at the top. I know there. I've always
Aye,
been a fan of
so
that.
that's
But
what- I like
it only
tops
works
with
with
collars.
it only works when the collar's nice. Like that.
Mhm.
See when you have ones with the collars like like half the size of that with the button. I think it looks daft.
Mhm.
But see, this it almost looks like it's meant to be like a polo that you could play football in as well, though. If that makes sense. Like these are the type of taps you could throw in with a pair of jeans and you'd be all right.
It's one of those ones.
As long as you're a Celtic fan.
As long as you're a Celtic fan. But
Try it on, Ryan.
for the oh no, you're all right. You're all right. No, no. I think that one's a bit too big for me actually.
That's a built in all. Have you got prices for all of these, by the way? I don't want to be putting
I've
you on the
got. I
spot.
do have them all, but they're on the website.
They're on the website, right,
so
okay.
Means you need to go and have a look.
Right, okay. Because this one's a really nice one. Again, mate, like see the condition of these, they're really nice condition, and the feeling, you don't get the same feeling as like that one,
Mhm.
but it's still like this one, the style wise, I'm a big fan of that. The collar on that, really nice. This one. What have you got next year, Ryan? And I'm guessing you'll see when I see this one, by the way. I can't think of like a player that associates. Like, see, when I think of that tap, I'm trying to think who screams out to me at that point. 21, 22.
A lot.
Is that Christie? Christie's time at Celtic when he was at peak, I believe. 21, 22. Oh, jeez, yeah, you've pulled one out now.
So this is obviously what we've got here is the shirt for like 2004-5.
I thought that was the one that you had for the Manchester there for a minute there.
So it was.
I thought that was.
Still, once again, like the same kind of era there, obviously, as the Celtic home one. Carlin print there. Still, like we're saying, like with the tags and that. So we've got a range of different stuff. And once again, Sean Paul is saying that.
Was it hard to get a hold of that one?
It was one of those ones, kind of came across it just in my hunting, you know. But once again, that was just like kind of from local source, to be honest. So.
What's been the hardest tap for you to like source? What became AF Celtic Rangers? Have you got like a go-to one that like you were looking for a long time? Because I'm thinking maybe the Manchester one with Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
That one must be like gold. Try to find one of the ones, eh?
Aye,
because so many people probably went down there and they've kept them as like a memory or whatever.
Absolutely.
But these ones, mate, there's just so many memories, mate. Like these are the years when it was a battle, mate. When the league was
100%.
back and forward.
Yeah.
Back and forward. 2004. That's prior to Yelovich years and that was 2010s and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think who would have been wearing this. Would that have been like Rickson's era?
Rickson and stuff like that.
Rickson would have been wearing this kit then, wouldn't he have?
What was it? Vic Kiriakos. I'm sure it was on that top that we were
Kiriakos,
playing.
did his sons not go to our school? Oh, that's
Really?
Aye, or was it Caniggia?
No, it was Caniggia's.
Caniggia's sons, aye. So would he even wearing this?
Yeah, yeah. As I'm sure
He
it was,
did.
we were playing.
I
at
can't
home.
touch this one too long. Disgusting.
We were playing one of the games that I remember actually. We were playing at home at Ibrox and it was Rangers versus Porto in the Champions League. And it was like 2-2 and then it was like 3-2 in the last minute. And big man, Kiriakos header, 89th minute.
I remember that.
You know?
I remember that.
So yeah, that's that one. Feel in terms of like you're talking about one of the kind of harder ones to come across. This
Oh,
was actually pretty difficult to come across.
I can imagine, mate.
Pretty difficult to come across. Obviously you can see it would be popular. Obviously,
What year was that, Faye?
that was Rangers 2002, 2003 because this was the year that we also had the blue home one. And it had
Right.
the collar on it with the line rampants throughout it as well.
So this one would have been.
This is the one where it was
Who
the,
would have been playing
the
with that
year
one on,
we
man?
won the 50th league title. And it
Really?
was Rangers
Wow,
Celtic.
mate. That's a special one then, eh?
Aye.
The
this
way
was
yous won the
when it was-
50th?
Aye. and
That's
it
mad to
was
think that was 22 years ago,
mad, innit?
innit? And
Absolutely
you've
mad.
only won 5 trophies. I know obviously he's got liquidated and that, but it's just, it doesn't seem, it's mad.
Crazy, isn't it?
Is it mad how I just always find a way to have a dig at you there, innit?
No, I found your way there, didn't you? But no, even like, that's what reminds me of times, even like, because back then it was like Rangers
have a feel of the
Celtic
fabric
both
on that.
had NTL home and
They were classics, mate, weren't they?
Nah, they were
See
great.
when you
That's
think
what I
of our
remember from
childhood
when
growing up.
we were
aye.
young, aye, but it was great kits back then because like, say if you feel like the sponsor on it and stuff like that as well, it's like
I
that
see
nice.
again. I really like the feeling of the way that things were printed back then, and they were more durable, mate. When you stick them in the wash and that, you'd actually get like nowadays the materials are just like they come off, mate. You put them in the wash once, they come off. But do you know what else I like about this? See, the fabrics of these pure remind me of what they're trying to do now. Like, see if you were to go into like a local Sports Direct now, I don't know if you've went in there in the last couple of years, Ryan, but see when you go to the sports bit, they'll have hundreds of taps like this that are just plain branded, like with one wee logo on it. Like, I'm not sure what their main kind of thing is in there just now, but they've just got so many that they almost try replicate not only the style of these, but the fabric, and it's just never the same.
Nah, it's never
They
the
just
same.
don't look the same. They don't have the same feeling. Like, it, when I gonna like look at this one, right, it reminds me of bad memories, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Well,
that was
that's that to and throw in it of like
that was back when, like, see, to be honest with you, people have a lot of problem admitting like a bit of like fear for arrival, right? But you'd be silly to say if you didn't grow up in that time watching the games that you didn't have a level of fear going into games against you. Because I did. I'd be like, fuck. Because you'd look at the team and there was so many players in there that were capable of going out and getting results in Europe. The teams were built to go out and perform, not just in our league, but at Europe. So they were either one was capable of going and winning the league, and I feel like that's gone a wee bit. And that's why, see, this season, I feel like it's been a bit refreshing, a bit exciting seeing how it got close, because there was points where either team could have won this league, and it's the first one you can say that it came close to the wire up to the last month.
Yep.
Where there was, and I feel like that's probably going to be good for in terms of like marketing for the football, because a lot of people on the outside, mate, pundits and that are impartial, they probably weren't used to win it because we've done it inside out.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like it's good for the league. I mean, look at how horny as everybody is for Leverkusen winning the league.
Absolutely.
I know that they don't deserve it. It's just that it's another team winning it. There's no Bayern, so it's like, oh, it's good. It's not a tin pot league anymore.
There's no tin pot, aye.
And the style of football they're playing is unbelievable, by the way. I'd love to see Xabi Alonso go to like one of the big European giants and see what he can do, but Be interesting to see what that team does in the Champions League now. Actually,
Absolutely.
really
I
interesting.
really like that he's actually staying there. You know,
Oh,
because that would have
smart decision.
yeah. Why? He's got plenty of time.
Because
you know what I
he
mean?
might
So
have a
why
bad
would you?
season next season,
Mhm.
and then he can see what it's like on both sides. But the expectation wouldn't be the same as if he was to go to Real Madrid, for example, or if he was to go to Bayern Munich. You lose the league again. That's Bayern no lost the league in 2 years. There's more pressure on you,
Mhm.
but he's bought himself some wiggle room now that he can afford to go out and lose things. And it's probably been advised to him, like through people that are around him, like, look, if we give you a couple of years here, build your resume up here, there's room for success and there's room for failure.
Mhm.
You don't have that luxury. You go into your big European clubs, and I think that might be one of the reasons why he's not doing it. I mean, like, you'd be daft to take certain jobs, like the Man United job. Only an idiot's taking that job because other than the FA Cup, they've massively underachieved. And like, it's not like they're not making big signings, mate. Like the Sancho one, they spent like, I'm pretty sure they spent upwards of 60 million. Harry Maguire, 80 million.
Mad, eh?
See, when you go and look at like what another club's investing for the same amount of money, Haaland less than Maguire. Do you know what I mean? It's
Madness, innit?
just so many. Leverkusen's whole team probably didn't even cost 80 million. That
Oh,
build that they done,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
and you can only do so much with what you've got there. So I mean, like, so I feel sorry for Ten Hag in the sense that like he's got to work with like a team of diddies, mate. He really does. Like that team are like shite. They really are. I mean, Rashford. I hear a lot of Man U fans are so good at supporting Man U. Right, I've got a guy in my work that's a Man U fan, and I said to him, "See the way you back the team after you got beat 4-0 at Crystal Palace. I've never seen anything like that." He goes, "It's just the way we are, mate. We'll just back them like." And I'm like, "It's nuts because you think with what they've achieved, there'd be some sort of self entitlement there, but there's no. They're just proper good supporters, mate. They'll proper back the team. They need to bring back all the Sikhs though that used to sit in the front, man. They need to bring them back. That was the golden areas, man.
Exactly, yeah. They loved
Aye,
them.
that's when they had all the success, man. As soon as they were gone, that was it. Success was gone. It's no Maguire's fault.
No, it's not Maguire's fault, man.
No, but that's mad, mate. The money that they throwed in there on it. I mean, we think we've got it bad
Madness.
here when our team's going buy a 4-5 million dud. They're going out there and buying 80 million duds. You know what I mean? Like our whole team
That's it.
will probably not have that investment put in there in the next 4 years.
Yeah,
And they're
that just
investing
shows you
on
the
one
money that's
guy.
gone there, innit? Shows you the money.
It's silly, man. It's silly.
But aye, so
What's the next one you've got
Next
there,
one?
Ryan? There.
got Juventus.
Oh God.
2004, 2005, classic total 90 style era one. Nike badge up in the corner,
What-
old school Sky Sports. as
Old
well,
school Sky Sports, mate.
There. So I'll let you have a
That is a beaut, man. Do you know? I think this is probably my favourite one, mate. Just because it's so rare you see one of these.
Nah,
I don't think I've seen one of these since the era that they were
that
actually
was
around.
also pretty difficult to kind of get a hold of, to be honest with you.
I can imagine, mate.
Um,
Again, total 90 days. So that'd have been Joga Bonito days.
Aye. Oh,
Back
yeah.
when they had all the adverts. Mate, why are the adverts not as good as what
I
they
know,
used to
they're
be? They
not,
were
aye.
like peak, man.
Just like with
Absolute
a
peak.
Saturday as well, like the old classic like Nike adverts and that were fantastic, man.
Did you
The
have
Pepsi
to
adverts.
source this outside the UK to get this one?
No, I did get it from the UK. But
Is
it's
it
just kinda
always
hard
within
to
the UK
find.
you managed to get these?
Well, certain companies, aye.
Certain companies?
Mhm.
Have you ever had a look at them outside? Is it too...
There's not really been an interest, you know what I mean?
Ah,
In
fair
all
enough.
honesty. But
The
aye,
fabric of
that's
this,
kinda
mate,
where we're
I've... Wow, by the
going.
way.
It's great, innit?
Mate,
It's great.
just... I'm trying to think of the last time I felt a tap like that, by the way. That's even more different for, see, the ones that we were just speaking about.
Mhm.
I remember what they were like because I had day taps growing up.
Yep.
But see, this one, I don't think I've ever had a tap. Maybe a Newcastle one, actually. One of the first kits I got when I was younger, but I kept it and then I got to look at it, mate, but lost it, mate. Like,
Aye.
as many people do, if you don't look after things like this.
Oh, they end up going.
They're all-
Exactly.
But
yeah.
obviously with these are more for like appreciating like what they are and obviously the memories and then the quality of what they are and all, man, it's just outstanding. Like, see that? A sweaty bastard like me would get maximum use out of that. Like the wee side and
Oh, the wee
I
side
need
bit,
them
innit?
on the taps today now, mate.
Aye.
That's so like you can tell how much thought's but see now I feel like they just roll kits out, mate, and there's no thought to them, man. But some of these ones, mate, you can tell like there's a lot of history with these, do you know what I mean? Like a proper effort went into making these taps. Like see now I feel like Celtic just roll out taps and
Mhm.
it's very rare that you get one you go, oh, see the last one for me that really stood out where I felt like Celtic done a really good job making it when they brung back that Bumblebee one.
Mhm.
But it wasn't the same. I got it right. Wasn't the same, mate. It's a nice tap, but that old school one just looks so. It's different gravy with the collar. You kidding me, mate?
I know.
I'd do something for one of them, by the way. I'd do things for them,
We'll
man.
see
I
if we
really
can
would.
find it.
But this one's always funny. I know for a fact, Aldo, if he's seen this one, he'd bite your hand off for it. A mate of mine is a Juventus fan. He'd absolutely love that, man. See with these ones, I'm trying to think. So who do you think would have been playing in this tap? 2000.
That's
What
it.
one was
You'd
this?
be looking at maybe-
2002 was it?
Aye.
Del
shit.
Piero then.
Del Piero, Trezeguet,
Is that Nedved?
Nedved potentially.
You'd have
at the
been,
time. Aye,
you'd have
need to
been there
look
at that
back up
time and
on
all,
that,
wouldn't you have? Some of the greats, mate. Some of the absolute greats, mate. I cannot believe.
Aye, that's up there as one of the favourite ones. Do you know
I'm
what I
so
mean?
jealous,
So,
mate. See, when I see all these, I get so jealous, mate. And do you know what's
we'll see
funny?
more. We'll see
I'm
more.
going to end up daying my own collection after this, mate. Honestly, day. I'm not even joking.
You know where to come find them.
I do, mate, for sure.
But then obviously last one we've got for today is old Scotland home 2000 to 2002. 'Cause back
That's
then
an
it was just
absolute
over, like,
belter, that one,
over
mate.
2 years that they'd done them. So, but obviously, like for Scotland fans back then, there wasn't a lot to shout about.
What year was this? Did you say
2000 to 2002.
Wow. So this lasted 2 years. This kit.
That was my first Scotland top actually.
I'm trying to think back. Was 2000 no a year that did we not manage to qualify in that year? Or was that
Nah,
no? It
98
wasn't.
was the last
98?
time. Aye, then there was nothing.
So
since.
I'm trying to think. Who'd have been
So you'd
playing
have
in this?
been-
And this would have been like your Ali McCoy then, maybe. Was he still playing 2000?
2000. Well, I, think
Tail
he was,
end
but I
it,
don't know if
wasn't
he was in the actual Scotland setup still at that time. But
What sort of players? you ain't
that
got
would have
looking
been
at?
like kind of better Volks era.
Betty Volts.
So obviously not much to shout about there, you know.
There's something about these taps, man. I wish they'd done the kits the way they did, like the style that these are and the fabrics, mate. It needs to be brought back, mate. I don't know why
Look
they
at the old
can't.
school bagginess on it as well, eh?
I'll be honest with you, right? I love a tap that's slim fit when I'm playing football, but right, see when I'm walking about the house, like when I'm watching a game in the house with the Wains and that, I like my baggies.
Yeah.
And I'm quite impartial to like a long sleeve tap. I do like one of them and off. I wonder, is there many retro like long sleeve taps Ryan gone about? I've not seen many.
No,
was
I
that
kind
a
of
thing
came
that
across
brought?
more like kind of short ones, but I think because they weren't produced as much,
Aye,
you know.
I'd have
But
been
they
like
are
a
there, do you know what I
special
mean?
like a
So-
player maybe going and asking for it. Or that. I'm trying to think. See back in these eras, do you think there's a player that they've been? I'm trying to think offhand if I can remember some that would have been wearing retro taps that would have had long sleeve. Was Trezeguet?
Trezeguet
No,
did.
was he not like
No,
always
no,
a?
Henry used to wear long sleeve.
Oh,
and that
mate,
as well.
peak Arsenal. You've
Aye,
hit
aye.
it nail on the head,
Yeah.
mate. You think long sleeve,
Aye.
classic days. Like, do you know that red tap, mate? For when he was there. Do you remember like Pro Evolution, the game with him on the
Yeah.
cover? And then there was the one the year after, I think, where it was Adriano with that Inter Milan tap as well.
Adriano.
Oh, mate, some beaut. So there was, man. You've got me pure wanting to do a collection now, mate.
That's it, you know where to come,
That's
you know
it,
where
mate.
to come.
That's me telling the missus that's the collection started now. But these ones, mate, like, see just this, mate, like the way this is done. It's just absolute vintage, mate. It's so nice, mate. It's just something nice to look at. When
For
you see the
crackers.
taps now,
Aye.
it makes you sad, maybe, to know that these kind of kits aren't going to be done in the future, innit?
No,
I know that
that's it.
Scotland done a similar kind of. They try to go old school with that last one they done there, which
think-
sold out. I couldn't even
Sold
get
out.
one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why not
sold it.
continue to
But
produce
why
them,
do
though?
not continue to produce them? Aye, they were all
Or
kinda-
do them on the website where you it's demand, so you ask for one and then you'll get it made and sent to you, kind of
Yep.
thing, in the date by bulk. But mate, I really appreciate you bringing these taps on, by the way, because some of these taps have got me absolutely horny, wanting to build my own collection, man. And I definitely, I
Going
can
into
see
the bank
myself.
account now.
I can see myself. But see, the problem with me is, Ryan, see if I get these, I'll wear them so much. I won't be the guy that kind of has them on the shelf. I'll be the guy that's wearing them all the time and
Yeah.
like wearing them playing football and all that. And I'll be like, aye, that's right, mate. Yours truly.
That's it. I end up going to play fives and stuff like that, and then it's like a
Do you
different
wear
top every week.
What's
Do you know
your-
what I mean?
have you
No, I've got like my own collection that I have.
Ah,
for,
that's
like,
what I
actual
mean. Like you
football.
wear the retro
Aye,
ones
aye.
playing.
like for football and stuff like that.
Do you tuck the shirt in? No, no, that guy.
I used to.
Del Piero did, mate. Do you remember? He was
used to.
iconic for that. Scott Brown,
Aye.
I know he done it and all.
I used to.
Was Barry Ferguson a
when I
tuck? Was
played?
he?
When I played, I think he tucked in as well.
He did.
aye.
He tucked it in. Aye.
Aye. He was up at standards. And
He was, mate. Do you know what was funny? Right before the cup final, man, you can tell Barry's no changed in that sense, at like standards and all that stuff, because he's only come out to like put the trophy there with Lustig, right? Lustig's dressed like he's got to go to like his cousin's 21st, and Barry's kicking about with a free piece on, like he's got to a wedding, and you're like, that's just the era he grew up in, mate, where you showed up every day, shirt and tie.
Mhm.
And do you think is it still like that at Rangers? And you'd know more than me,
well, I
mate. Do you
think that's what part of it was. It wasn't before, and then when Clement came back in, it was like a matter of like kind of let's go shirt and tie and stuff like that again, like tradition and all that, which is good.
Aye. Gerard seemed to like have a good kind of hang on that
Aye,
as
aye,
well.
As well. But I think that's one of those ones. Like obviously, it's the modern day era. Is like when you're looking at your coaches and that at the side, it's all like kind of polos.
Oh, mate,
and
he
that,
looks,
and
mate, by
jumpers
the
and
way,
that, like Guardiola style, you know.
he looks Arteta, mate.
Aye, do you know what I mean?
Jeez, man, give him a kiss already. He
absolute
looks so
ballers, do you
absolutely
know what I
sharp.
mean?
Aye. Must be nice.
That must be nice, man. Must be nice. But aye, do you know what I mean?
With his
So,
turtleneck and everything.
like I'm saying, that's like football and everything is changing, you know. Like we're saying, maybe like challenges that we were talking about before. You be like, let's kind of go on. But now it's a yellow, now it's a red, you know.
Aye, game's gone, mate. Game's gone. But hopefully, like, I like that the ref let things go a wee bit in some sense, you know what I mean? But like, then when he got a bit card happy in the end, it was like first half, second half. I think he just had the different. Maybe somebody said something. Maybe like a fourth officials went, you know, kind of get a grip in this or whatever. But I don't think the game ever got out of hand, which is a good thing. It was dead feisty, and that's the way you need it to be. Old Firm should be that feisty because it's your rivals. Do you know what I mean? You live in this. It's the same city. It should be. Shouldn't be all nice. Do you know what I didn't like though? Right, and people can judge whatever they want. Right, I did not like that seeing certain challenges for Hitati and a few others. They're going there after it and going, "Oh, you're right, mate," and slapping five him and Cantwell and all that. And I'm just like, don't do that. See if you're gonna do that, stay in the tunnel. I don't want to see that. If you're really like feel bad about it, go in the tunnel and go, I get you early, you're right. No, like, do not do that in the game, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, because then see if you go lose at the game, people remember the things, mate. Do you know what I mean? We don't. You should have a competitive mentality to the point where you don't care what happens to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's a fellow professional, right? But nobody's asking you to go in there and maliciously get sent off and break a guy's leg like Lundstrom nearly did.
Yep.
But we're just make it competitive, mate. Do not like. I can't imagine myself doing that if I was playing like a competitive, like to the high level. I would never do that, mate. If I was playing like a friendly game, no bother. Do you know what I mean? That's different. But I just didn't like it, mate. I don't know. How do you feel about that? See when you see the other side, you're like, I'll let you go. I can imagine you screaming at the telly, man.
No. I think it's one of those ones. Like, obviously, there's always going to be points, but it's going to boil over.
Aye.
You know, it's always going to happen. You know, and
You wouldn't see a Scott Brown doing that or a Barry Ferguson. No, it's probably because it's their culture was different football in Japan. Do you know what I mean? Like,
aye, that's it. But it's like you used to hear Barry Ferguson like talk about like kind of going, right, cool, how do we get the crowd going? He's like, boom, we'll do the tackle, we'll take the yellow card, get the crowd up and going. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like you got that, but back then when you done that when it was his time, you probably got away with things a little bit more.
there was defo. You could be a bit naughty back then, man, for sure. Sometimes I mean, you see some tackles, mate. I mean the Sunis's ones. Like, see, you ever seen clips of Sunis tackle? And then he gets yelled and he's arguing that it wasn't a yellow. And you're like, come on, man. That was a 6-game ban in the day's football. Say to go back. Say to go back to the website that you've started on that. Was it always the plan to do the website, or are you thinking maybe a shop down the line, or like what was your process with making it a website originally? Was that always the goal for you?
I think it's one of those ones that I'll be honest, I've always kind of liked the idea of like kind of growing up in an area where we've done a lot of kind of shopping outside in shops and stuff like that. So yeah, there'll be a couple of like pop-ups and stuff like that coming as well. But
So you've got things in mind. You just want to wait till you get everything in place to announce
Aye.
them. So you're going to do like events in.
Yeah. So
I like
a
the
couple
idea
of
of
wee
that.
kind of pop-ups and kind of some kind of areas and stuff like that. But website is live. Can pay through PayPal, card, whatever you want to do. You know,
I'll
all that
put
kind of
the website in the Instagram bio for the podcast as well, right, mate? We'll give you a good plug. Ryan's actually going to be doing. You're going to be doing a discount code for when the podcast gets
Yep.
released. And how long is that going to last for? That code?
So we've got it on for an unlimited time now.
Unlimited
Unlimited
time.
time.
Brilliant.
The code is FTCGTBR10.
And that's how much is that for half? Is that
10% off.
10% off any purchase?
Yep, any purchase, and you'll get free delivery as well if you do it above $39.99.
That's brilliant. Free delivery as well.
Yep.
Is that, do you only ship in the UK?
No,
Use
postal,
do anywhere?
so can go anywhere.
And that'd be
Anywhere
free
at all.
delivery anyway then?
Yeah. Just
These
the way
people are
they've
going to
set
put
it up
that to the test, by the way. Let me tell you, man.
That's fine.
Be a
That's fine.
few kit orders from Nigeria coming your way, mate. You're going to be like, well, I'm not making money on these.
No, that's it. It's one of those ones like we'll kind of do our bit for you guys to get that support. So
Brilliant, mate. Aye.
but
So if you were to have like a location in mind, have you got somewhere like down the line you'd love to have your own wee shop? Have you got somewhere that you've got a lot of memories where you'd go, love to have it there?
I could it just depends on the location where would be the right place, you know, such as the world we live in now and retail and stuff like that. You just need to make sure it's the right place and where you're going to get the actual footfall for it.
So it's more about the unit being right than the
make sure
location.
the
You
unit's
don't
right.
really.
Aye, make sure the unit's right for you, and make sure it's a place that people can get to and is accessible, you know. But like I was saying, the website is live and it's football.corner.co.uk.
Football top corner, definite. Well, get yourselves on there and have a wee look at the kits there. Some naughty ones on there, especially with a discount. You'd be a fool not to get on there before I do and buy them all, because I probably will be buying half of them after this. So See, he come back now. We're talking about the Premier League, Ryan. I want to get your opinion on something, right? See, it's nuts to see how close Arsenal are just getting closer and closer. Would you think they need to sign? Like, if you got, do you think you've got? Like, I think they need a striker, but if you got somebody, do you think if they signed, that's it, they would win the league? Because it's so close that you feel like that's what they're missing in it. Somebody that will just bang them in.
As close once again. It needs to be like has to be just a match winner, doesn't it? Like
I was thinking, see that Osimhen, Victor Osimhen from is it Napoli? Had that?
Napoli. Yeah.
I think if he was at Arsenal this season, they probably would have won the league. I really think that.
Once again,
So
five
close.
Mars, what was it? Level in goals and then 2 points in it.
2 points.
2 points. So, aye. But do you know it's quite an exciting Premier League season as well. You know,
I know
'cause
it's a bummer that Liverpool really fell off the boil near the end there, though, innit? Like,
feel like they announced that he was leaving and then everything just kind of fell a bit away.
oh mate, don't. Do you know how many people I've spoke to about this, Ryan? I've said to probably anybody again. This is where he hangs. Anybody to listen to me, I'll moan about it. I think the best thing he could have done was let the club know and the board know and asked them not to tell anyone. Asked them to make a short list and monitor some managers, right? But don't approach anyone and keep it in house. And then when you get to the tail end of the season and everything's been played for, then announce it. Because at that point, the club know who they're going to go for. And they've obviously got an idea exactly who they want. So you don't need to approach them any earlier than what you're going to. If you're going to do that, there's no like they're going to come in and start coaching when Klopp's still there anyway. They need to wait till he's at the door and let him have his farewell. It's disrespectful otherwise. So I feel like that was a huge mistake because all you've done there, right, is you've put an enormous amount of pressure on players that already have to deal with that anyway. They're used to dealing with the pressures they've got, but then you throw in extra and you think about last season when they lost the league. Was it last year or the year before they lost the league by 1 point and they lost the Champions League final by 1 goal in the same season?
Yep.
And you go, most of that team's still there. That changes you as a player, mate. Like you've then probably got a sense of burden that you need to deliver because of how close you came. Like it'd be like I feel like it's unfair to the players putting that on there. Like I don't get any reason why there was any need to announce it when they did.
So early.
I don't get it. Maybe Klopp thought media commitments. I'll get all these big interviews that will be wanted to be done about me, why I'm leaving, all that stuff done now, so that when it comes to the end, I can just step away completely. Or maybe he's really sick and he doesn't want to announce it publicly. Maybe he's got some sort of illness. Like it could be something that's serious to health that he's saving that for down the line, and he just wanted to maybe make a cushion for everybody to let everybody know. Like, maybe he felt like he had to because if he is sick, that maybe it's going to get worse and he has to go prior to that. I don't know, but I can't see any reason other than the ones that make sense why you would do it. Like I think it was a big mistake, mate, because Liverpool were flying.
No, they were flying.
Salah start of the season,
fronts, you know?
phenomenal.
But it's one of those ones like you can't deny what a job he's done.
No, he's done.
An unreal
His legacy's there, mate.
Unreal.
He said it himself. You don't judge a manager when they come in the door. You judge them when they go out because then you know how good a job they've done, mate. Like it won't be the same seeing him no there, but I think it's the right time. It's funny because I'll be honest with you, I'd not heard the Honest Slot before this. Maybe you had because I know you know with
like,
Dutch football. I know you have a wee bit more clued up with me, but I know Slaney is anyway.
Yeah,
he's mad for the Dutch football, aren't he? Especially Amsterdam.
FC.
So I'm trying to think of like. Do you think they would? I don't know, man. This is what I hear about football. Right? It's if buts and maybes, and you just don't know what that Liverpool would have done if he didn't announce that retirement. And then same way like Arsenal, if they'd brought in a decent striker, what would have happened? I'm very impressed with Man City, mate, being able to pick up because a lot of players weren't at it. Like they had a big miss with De Bruyne being out a big chunk of the season. I don't think Haaland had his best year, but they all everything again same as Celtic, mate. They pick everything up at the right time, and they're just mentality. They can get it at the line. And do you know who I thought was a big miss actually in Man City? Ike Gundogan. I thought for me, mate, I've always been a big admirer of him, especially at the Dortmund days. And I'll be honest with you, seeing he went to City, I didn't expect him to do as good a job there as what he done. And when he went there, I think it took him a while to actually get to his best. But mate, Man City got the best out of him these last 3-4 years, and I do not know why. On a year where he personally is the reason they won the league, right? In that last game of the season, where he comes on and they're 1-0, 2-0 down or something like that, right? And then they win the game, all thanks to him. Big part of him anyway. I don't get why they let him go to Barcelona. Do you think he wanted to go? I can still think it makes sense because Pep didn't want him to go.
Exactly.
Do you remember Pep greeting when Aguero was going to go? We cannot replace him. We cannot him. That's like literally see.
Then Haaland.
Oh God, mate, that's brilliant.
But no, once again, it's interesting that it was like at top and bottom. Also, like the bottom three that went up,
Aye.
now went down. You know, so
But at least they get a cushion, man. They get a tidy wee sum of money for it.
that's once
See the
again
way-
some windfall.
See the way Pep was when Aguero left? That's what it's like. See when we organise fives every week, if Kyle's not playing, that's what we're like, mate. We're like in the group chat. Cannot replace him. Cannot replace him. Mate, it's funny. I hope he watches this because see, almost every pod he's been rinsed at every pod, mate. And I keep getting him.
I'm
I keep edging him to come on,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna get him on at one point. One day I'm gonna get him to the pub before us,
And
get
then
him a few
drag on.
bevies. He's not even gonna know the pod's happening. I'm gonna just absolutely drag him in here, man. I'm gonna cuff him to that bench, mate, and that's him. He's gonna do the pod. But aye, yeah, he's been rinsed, poor boy. Aye, so see, like next season, expectation wise, if yous don't win the league, do you think Clement should get another year?
It's one of those ones. Questions will be asked, won't it?
Aye, because he
No.
had the part window there, where obviously I get his
whole
hands were
season.
tied with not be able to bring. But if he gets another window like he's coming up, he'll have
Mhm.
another one in
Yep.
the winter one too. Would he? I know that obviously use. I feel like in some ways there's a good portion of Rangers fans where they just expect this, but then I think you get a good bunch that like yourself that's kind of more like open-minded in terms of like knowing that sometimes it's going to be a project where you can do that. Because actually, initially, I'll be honest with you, mate, I felt like with Michael Beale getting sacked, I feel like that was a bit early. Same with Gio. I feel like both of the managers should have been given more time, mate. And I
Mhm.
think if you go back 10 years ago, they would have given more time.
I would have
A
definitely,
very,
'cause
very
it's, once
harsh.
Again, it's like football's that results-driven business, and it needs.
Because
wins
Gio got
now,
to,
needs
to the
results now.
final, though, I thought it's
Aye.
like the board are going, right, this season's all or nothing. We need to win the league this year. And if Gio's not going to do it, we're going to just sack him and get somebody else in. When it's like, well, hold on a minute here. You just got used to a final, European final, 4 months ago.
Mhm.
Should we not give the guy give him a bit of time, give him another window, see what he can do? Like, has he got what he needs here? Yeah, the team's not playing great now, but like, if you're going to lose the league anyway, why swap the manager partway through anyway? You're not going to get it better out that season. Just I feel like it would have been better to let Gio run out that time that he had there.
Mhm.
And then the kind of same thing I thought about Beale. Don't get me wrong though, it's very obvious for me though, Clement looks like a better manager straight away than Beale. Beale just looked like a con man. Especially when it came out that is this a joke or is this real, right, that he was running the Twitter?
No, I
was
suppose it was
present-
an actual thing. It was actually.
It was actually him. He was putting posts praising himself on Twitter.
Yeah,
That's a shambles, by the way. That's something mad day. What a brass neck, man. I'm going to go make a burner
great
account for the podcast and go, podcast was superb as always, Sean Paul. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
But aye,
Aye, so you
look,
think if you don't win the league next year, he'll
I
be
think
at
there'll
the door?
definitely be questions to be asked because I think it's just went naturally, isn't it? Like it's winning a league for Rangers and Celtic is just both critical. You know, if you then go and win the league and don't win the two cups as Rangers, you'll get kept on.
Do you think there's been stronger signs shown from Clement than what you saw from a Beale and a Gio?
Definitely, aye, definitely. I
What
think
about
it just
Gerrard and
shows
all?
you that. Well, even with Gerrard, because that was like a 3-year project. Do you know what I mean? He always came out with it, he's like, I've got a 3-year plan to make sure that we.
I feel like with him though,
Get
he's
that.
had an identity though. Do you know what I mean?
Aye,
You could
exactly.
see
You could see the way that the play
Yep.
was getting done and stuff like that.
he was very good in Europe and all.
Aye,
When you've got
hard
good
to
results.
break down on that and got the wins, absolutely. But I think that will be the same kind of way that we'll go with Clement. Hopefully, it does get that backing.
So he showed you. You think he showed you you've got more belief in him then?
Aye,
at
just
this point?
once then because he's went and done it in Belgium, you know, so he has done it, you know. I think
For
even
once,
like
he's got
when-
somebody with experience.
Exactly
Because it's funny,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
than Gio, the last couple of managers haven't they been?
Aye.
I mean, it's nuts when you think about that. Michael Beale and Gerrard were given a
Gerrard,
job,
well, just fresh.
but they really just. I mean, Gerrard got it off his name, and Beale got it off of Gerrard's name.
Mhm.
It's nuts to think that
Aye.
like you wouldn't expect that. Like as some people, you go back to a year ago. If you were to tell them that would happen to Rangers, they'd probably be laughing in your face. Like, no way will Rangers bring in a manager with that level of experience. I know, obviously, Paul Le Guin and
Mhm.
Buddy Kashina and all that has been some really bad ones, man. But
Oh, there's been some terrible ones.
I mean, I'm
I've
sort of
done.
thinking that. Can you class Gerrard as a success at Rangers when he was there for 4 years and they only won what he won?
I think you have to, considering there was such a gap for me anyway, because there was such a gap
Right.
between Rangers and Celtic. Do you know what I think? Because he went out and said, do you know what? There's been a 3-year plan, and then we need to stop 10 in a row 'cause that was the aim anyway. We've done that.
Yep.
You know, should that have been better? I think we'd probably get more cups, better performances, and that.
Yep.
Aye, but considering when I look at it, going, we were playing some great football in Europe as well.
It's really
a lot of the
interesting to see when I
time,
get this
so-
opinion from fans. It's always so interesting to hear all these things because obviously it feels like the
It's got to look at
the
success.
Gerrard thing was more of a project
Mhm.
than the Beale and the Gio one, where
Mhm.
it was like not because Gerrard got so much time, mate.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's almost like he was the downfall of the other two managers because he managed to. I know people joke that the gap was it because he managed to improve Rangers so much in the sense that like they were basically being able to be a wee bit more competitive with Celtic, not still win things, but be more competitive. 'Cause obviously they won because they won the league,
Mhm.
but to be more competitive to the point where it then I feel like hurt Gio and it hurt Beale because then it's like, well, no, because we know we've won the league just like a year or two ago, so we know we're capable of doing it, so let's get it done. And I feel like if Gerrard didn't win the league that year, Beale and Gio probably would have got more time at
Mhm.
Rangers. Like, and I think you'll probably agree with me. They probably would have been given at least a year and a half, 2 years to try and see what they could have done because Gerrard got 4,
Mhm.
and it was only the last year that third year was it that he won it.
Yeah,
Aye.
absolutely. Because obviously he stopped back 10 in a
Yep.
row. So, aye, but that's what I hope it's going to be the same way with
Clermont.
Clermont. Aye.
So do you think if you get to the winter, like say if you get to the winter period and you're miles off it behind the league and let's say the league's more or less done, do you still
Oh,
think-
if we're behind it at Christmas time, you know, that
Still-
time and then if it's like an 8-point gap, for example, or something like that, then I see it hard for me to come back for that again, to be honest with you.
him staying manager? You mean? So,
yeah.
but would you? Like I know it's hearsay because it's hard to say because you don't know what they're going to play like during that period. But see if you see a style of play at that point, which we keep coming back to, with him bringing signings in, where you see it's just going to take time to like improve it. Would you then still want him to go, or would you think?
I think
nah,
if they see
let's
that
run
we're
it out.
playing better and there's a clear identity, but see, for example, if we're playing there's like no cohesion
Mm-hmm.
and there isn't, it's just like maybe long ball football, then why would
It
you wanna
always
keep him?
fought
Why
that
would
at
it
some
not be
point anyway
attractive?
because of the way the league is, which was why Celtic brought in Ida, mate. They probably realised like this tiki taka stuff's not always going to work.
No, that's what I was saying earlier on.
You
There's
need a
gonna be-
target, man.
There's definitely going to be a point where you're going to need to do that because sometimes you're going to come up against these teams. It's just going to be have to try and break them
Aye.
down. But when we're looking at it from a point of view of a Rangers fan, if you're then be like, right, cool, we're playing better football, then do you know what? I keep them. But if the gap's like too big, you're like, well, need to make some sort of change. That's what they've done this year.
Aye,
You
they
know what I
did.
mean? The gap's too big. You know what I mean? So
It was a period of time there. I'm not going to lie, mate. There was a period of time there, right? And these are things that I don't mind admitting them, mate. I really don't because I don't really care what people think. But there was a period of time there where I was worried about how good a job Clermont was
Mhm.
managing to get out of that
yeah.
team because all
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
think was he's getting a tune out of this team that's mince.
Aye, that would,
He's getting a
aye,
tune-
absolutely.
I'm kind of no looking forward to it, but looking forward to seeing what can he do when he gets a window. Like, is he going to make this? Is this league going to go down to like a helicopter Sunday kind of thing again? What's going to happen? 'Cause I know that we're going to improve, and I know
Mhm.
that obviously that's the goal in it. Both teams are going to go forward.
Course,
Like
aye.
potentially, obviously, doesn't you don't always get that with transfers, which you've seen with Lammers and we've seen with other players that we've brought in as well. But I was very concerned, mate. See when you were going that good, when you closed the gap, I was like on the points, and then you were like, I think that, what were you not ahead at one point by 1
Aye,
point or
we're
2
ahead,
points?
aye,
I was
aye.
like, fuck me, man. What is this guy doing with this team?
Mhm.
And then there was just like you just had a knack of getting results out, which when you're playing bad and you go get the results, that's like the things that will help you win the league. And I think obviously you just died after that. And I think I'm not sure if at some point maybe he lost certain people in the dressing room headwise because of obviously the pressure on that. Like he just maybe thought I can't really get a tune out of him or her
Mhm.
because no him or her, but him.
Yeah.
Her was meaning Todd Cantwell. So because I've seen him do it a lot, mate, where he'll bring Cantwell off early,
Aye,
and
absolutely. I don't think he's no scared to make a decision. That's for sure.
no, you need that.
But
You need that. And see, the thing is, Cantwell seems to respect him for it,
Mhm.
even though he's coming off. Which was funny yesterday on that cup final actually when he was getting a yellow just for going off at the ring bit.
Mhm.
I mean, did you see the physio when he was getting told? One of the Rangers physios went on to help somebody, right? It was Cantwell when he got that bad tackle. Which,
It
mate,
looked
can we
bad,
talk
it
about
looked-
that one? I was surprised, not a yellow, right? I think it might have been. If it wasn't, it should have been. And then there was another one where a Rangers player, brilliant tackle, and he got booked for it.
Oh, Sterling.
I was like,
aye, that was a
how
great
is that?
challenge. I think
How is that a yellow card?
Aye, because that was like kind of
Shocking decision.
right
ref.
side. It was a great challenge. I got a yellow card.
I seen it, you seen it in real time, mate. I seen it in real time. I was like, that's not a yellow.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. But so Campbell was down and he was holding his like thigh, and I thought he was injured. And I was like, thank God, man, because he was looking like the only one that was trying to make something happen for you. And see, to be fair, he was covering a good bit of ground. He looked okay, like he was having an okay game in that, and he was looking like if something was going to happen, it was going to be him to make it happen. So when I seen him down, I was like, right, hopefully he's going to go off.
Mhm.
And then the physio comes on, and you can see the ref going like to the physio, look, you need to go off. And I don't know if he said something cheeky like in the process of saying it or the way he said it, but mate, the physios like it's as if they says, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" And mate, you could see him and the physio were having a back and forward, right? And eventually they can't really laugh because you have to go off, but they try to take him off the long way, like to the bit, and they was like, "No, go there to the earliest bit because that's the rule, isn't it?" And he's like, "All right, mate, but he's injured or whatever, right?" And there was like a back and forward, and then it gets to the point where, basically where the ref has already got them off the pitch, and he's went there to have another wee go at the physio. As if to say, "I'll enjoy day, pal." He's went there to say something else, and I was like, "Brilliant, man." The ref's giving him a bit of that.
Even the
I'm the boss. Anyways, I'll wrap it up on that note, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Getting the Ball Rolling. Thank you.